What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Monday night rookie roundtable call. And no, my company name is not Rookie Roundtable. It's one of our calls. It's a product, I guess you would call it. And as people are now just joining, missing out on the Top Gun song, come on. Lyle, when you fly planes, I know you fly planes. Do you listen to this? You listen to this song?
I
And
do
when
sometimes. I do sometimes.
you do, so you're flying like a couple hundred people and you're listening to this song. What
Oh,
happened?
maybe not during. Maybe not during. I'll
Uh,
be responsible. Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm just
Before and
thinking
after.
about this now. I'm like, when a pilot is flying all of us on the plane and this song comes on, like, do you do a little want to do a little riskier maneuvers?
Right. Yeah, yeah. I might listen to it before and then a little bit after. Keep the energy going.
All right. Well, so hey, welcome everybody. For anybody that is new, thank you for joining us here. I will be your host. My name is Alex Lovely, and we've been running this call for like I don't know, a year and a half now, Nick. Where are we at?
You're like a few weeks away from 2 years.
A few weeks away from 2 years since this call's been going on. So Nick is the 17-year-old child prodigy that is my mentee. I've been mentoring him for a while. So none of this is really possible without him, actually. So I don't know if I'm mentoring him or he's mentoring me. I don't know, but we can learn from each other. So Nick is somebody that you guys will see a lot. Get to know him. He's a social media genius. He has brought me from 600 followers on Instagram to over 150,000. So, at one point I was actually really embarrassed. I would go to conferences and people would ask, "Do you have Instagram?" And I would say, "Yeah, I do, but I don't really use it." Right? I'm sure some of you guys probably say the same thing about your LinkedIn or your Instagram or your CRM, right? The most important part of anybody's business is really a CRM. So Nick can help with all those areas. My CRM have 50 people on it, and it was sad. It was a very sad looking thing when I first started, and now it's nice, right? We just crossed the 2,000 people mark, right, Nick?
Yeah, like 2009. You're at.
2009. Okay. And these are all like very well curated, nurtured. Everybody goes into the pockets that they opt into. It's not like I just bought you guys off the streets and stuck you guys in my CRM and started spamming you guys, right? So every single one of you guys that are in my CRM have opted into something yourself. And it always prompts you again, do you want to know more about what's going on in deals? Do you want to see our deals? And we're always taking you to somewhere where you want to be, right? We don't really want to give you information that you don't want to see. So, with that being said, that's the introduction to Nick. If you guys want any help on social media, marketing, CRMs, all that stuff, Nick Charmante, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Um, so today's agenda for those of you guys that actually have been here, welcome back. Thank you for taking the time out and spending another Monday night here with us. Much, 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 much blessing to you guys. And I'm so grateful that you are a yes for tonight. And those of you that are new, we'll kind of go over the agenda here. And then I'm going to bring up our guest speaker, um, who I'm just so excited to share the stage with here today, virtual stage. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna just kind of do a little bit more of an intro, share some logistics of how our online community works, blah blah blah, all of that, while we wait for the late people to come on, right? And give them an opportunity. I don't want them to miss what we're gonna be sharing tonight. So what we're gonna start with is that, and then we'll bring the speaker up. We'll bring my dear friend up here, and we're gonna chat. Every single speaker that comes onto this call has been vetted. Somebody that I have a personal relationship with. I won't bring anybody on here just because they're somebody. Okay, I have had personal relationships with every single person that you will see on these calls. So either I have worked with them or I use their service or they're a good friend, or they influence me, or they've changed my life, whatever it may be. That's the only reason they would be on this call. Okay, so there's been a couple of people that have been on here twice, multiple times. But yeah, just really, really amazing people when I bring them on. So that's what you're going to get. After the guest speaker shares, when me and the guest speaker go back and forth, you guys can raise your hand and ask questions at any given point. Okay, so one of the ways that we create a great environment, people always say, wow, your calls have such good energy, is because I ask every one of you guys one thing, which is to be kind in your thoughts, kind in your words, and kind in your facial expression if you were on camera. Okay, because when you're on camera, you give off energy. People will feed off of it. Like Jason's laughing right now, that makes me feel better. That gives me a little bit more energy. When people are nodding and smiling, I'm like, okay, wow, okay, I'm saying something of value, I guess. All right, so when you have your cameras on, obviously it's going to give you a great opportunity to connect and for people to see you. All right, if you are here tonight, the way to get the best value is to be engaged, right? If you're going to be here, try to be present and engaged, because otherwise, if you're cooking and you're listening, or if you're like watching TV or watching football and listening, you're not really going to get anything out of it. All right, so I want you guys to get something out of it, and it is up to you. If you're here with your arms crossed, like, let me see what Alex has got. Let's see what he's going to say. Let's see what Jacqueline's going to say, right? Like, that's gonna block you from being able to get some, to reach those money worth moments or life-changing moments. Because I promise you, some of the things that are shared from our guest speakers are life-changing. It could be, but you have to sit here like it can be. Otherwise, you won't hear it and you won't see it. Okay, so to support you guys, all right, we're also going to have some fun. Nick, while this is going on, is going to be paying close attention and creating about 10 questions, okay, for a little game that we will play as soon as the speaker finishes. And there is a leaderboard that goes on from week to week. At the end of the quarter, there's going to be a good prize for the top 3 places. And I will also be participating in the game. Okay, last week I did not make it to the top 3. It was very sad. I don't know what happened. I think it was lagging, and because the speed in which you answer and the amount of accuracy, and there's some like boosts that you can use, right? It's fun. So that's going to be, after the speaker. And then the best part comes, okay? The reason why most of you guys are here, probably, actually, I don't know if that's the case, but for the people that have been here, this is probably the reason why you're here, which is we break you guys out into breakout rooms of 6, usually 6, 5, 7, I don't know, depending on how Nick feels or how he's doing with his math. But you will get a chance to meet other people. Okay, from those breakout rooms, I've seen people do real estate deals together. I've seen people create businesses together. I've seen other Zoom calls created because of people meeting in my Monday night calls. When I go to conferences, without fail, every single time someone says, "Oh my God, I was on your Monday night call and I met this person," or "I was on your Monday night call and I met that person, and this happened and that happened." It's awesome, right? I love it. I love when that happens. These calls will always be, there will be a lot of fresh new faces in here because it comes from Instagram. Some of you guys might come from my social media. Some of you guys might come from the meetup that I have on in Vegas, and also the Eventbrites. So we will start to build this out in cities, right? If you want to be a contributor to the community, create an Eventbrite or create a meetup in your city and put this link in there. Right? This is how you can contribute to the community. And when you contribute, the community pays out. Okay. You may not know how it pays out, but it will. If every single one of us here brought 3 people here next week, you know what the breakout rooms will look like? Because I don't know the caliber of people that you're going to bring onto this call. And that's the cool part. It's kind of like Burning Man. You don't know who's who, and you just go into a room and there's no like, oh God, this guy is this, and I'm scared and I don't know what to say, because you're going to be prompted with some icebreaker questions too. All right. So with that being said, we've given people enough time to join. If they're this late, they got to check themselves. Not just kidding. But here's what I'm going to leave you with when we talk about contributions. If you want to get onto a team, if you want people to value you as a team player, there's only one of two mindsets that you can have. And I'm going to bring these two people into the room before I say it. And I'll probably say this one more time so they hear it. If you want to get onto a team, okay, if you want people to see you when you are networking, whatever the case, when you're visiting your family, all right, one of two mindsets. One is you're either going to say, I'm going to be in contribution of what's going on here to this community, to this family, to this relationship, or I'm going to think what's in it for me. There is nothing in between that. Okay, don't kid yourself that there's a gray line, and don't make the buts and all the back doors that you can have for that. Either you're in contribution to a community or you're saying, what's in it for me? On a team, in a mastermind, in a conference, sitting here in the Zoom. Either you can be a contribution or you're going to say, what's in it for me? Now, the formula to success is to have 10 times the amount of moments in which you say, I'm going to be in contribution. How do I contribute? How do I contribute to this conversation here tonight? How do I contribute to the people that I see here? It's a much more efficient and productive way to be in this room than to be in what's in it for me. What am I going to get out of it? Right? I shared an example last week. Somebody in another mastermind immediately goes, I'm trying to get into my first deal. What can you do to help me get into the first deal? I think every single person ignored this person, and he ended up leaving the mastermind actually, but he got nothing out of it. Of course you're going to get nothing out of it because he was 10x what's in it for me, then how am I going to be a contribution? Okay, Nick was the entire time us working together, Nick is, how can I be in contribution to creating Alex's social media, to blowing Alex up? And now his net worth is 33x what it was before. Okay, so it pays for that to happen. I interviewed Paul Hutchinson yesterday. He said the exact same thing. Every single wealthy person has said something along the lines of, I contributed, I didn't want anything in return. I went and did this work and this charitable work, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden something just opens up. Somebody sees it, somebody opens it up. Okay, that requires faith. And we'll talk about that on my Sunday and Wednesday calls. We won't talk about that here. But that's it. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce my good friend. And thanks to my social media team found her. I'm going to spotlight her here. Oh, look at you and your cute hair tonight. Hello. What's up, my friend?
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. So for those of you guys that don't know who she is, or if you didn't recognize her from the HGTV show, you used to work for Ernst & Young, and you did like massive acquisition and mergers for Fortune 250 companies. And, you know, you were in that gigantic corporate world. And then now you're here wanting to teach, and you're creating your own fund. You're helping me start my fund, and you're introducing me to all these powerful players. What am I missing? What else? I know,
I don't know.
your achievements are long, so I didn't want to. I can't memorize all of
No,
that.
no. I'm just me. That's all you can be, is just me, right? Like you can be you and I can be me, and we're just gonna glow together, and that's life, right? So the more you love yourself, the more people love you. And kind of to echo off a little bit of what you said, you know, because I gave so much, I'm going to make a tentative, nothing is locked in contract yet, announcement at the end of this. But yeah, I can't iterate what you said and echo it more and more. You know, like I remember when I first met you, I was like, I had this meeting with this guy named Alex. I have no idea who he is. he's like huge. Why is he reaching out to me? I was like, this is funny, right? Oh, you're in Vegas. I'm in Vegas. Oh, okay. This is interesting. And then there was like no next steps. And I kind of felt like I was left hanging. No offense. I was like, I don't know if that was a good date or a bad date.
Actually, I kind of felt like that. I was like, oh man, she's huge. After talking to you, I was like, oh man, she's doing some big things. I really hope that she reaches back out to me. But we did have some next step. The next step was that we were going to go into Dallas together. We were going to both be there.
Yes, we're going to be in person, even though we live in Vegas. Isn't that ironic?
We both live in Vegas, and we decided to meet in Dallas as our first date. Got it.
Yes, for our first Inhuman business date. Yes, and I think I had a stack of bills. You probably were like, "Where's this girl going? The strip club or something?"
No, actually, I thought that your authentic self showing up from the moment that I talked to you on social media was you know, I liked it. And when you showed up with the money, I was like, you're gonna win whatever you're doing in that on that stage.
I don't. There's one thing I hate more than anything, and it's losing. Like, I hate losing more than I like winning. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm like, I can't lose. I can't.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the competitor in me. So yeah. What would I add to my bio? Yeah. So long story short, I'm a certified public accountant by trade. I spent almost 16 years doing it. And yeah, I worked for some really big companies, companies you use and probably have bought throughout your lifetime. And I just got really tired during COVID of seeing billionaires and the gap of that income grow again. So I watched it in the 07, 08 crash. I did some analytics because I like numbers because they don't lie. And I was so upset when I saw that in 2016, people made the same amount of money as they did in 06. And I was like, this is messed up. And then here we are on the brink of another crash, right? And I was like, man, I got to start being part of the solution and stop being part of the problem. So I left my job. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. It was kind of ironic. I've always wanted to be fired, and I got fired, and it was great. And I was like, yes, the Holy Grail, I made it. I got a fat package. This is amazing.
So now you're working with Proxy Financial.
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit more about Proxy Financial, because I was extremely impressed. When you invited me to their gala, I was like, okay, let's see what this company's got. I actually did a little bit of okay, let's see, because somebody was like, oh, don't trust these guys. And I also always had this little negative judgment, I guess, about asset advisors and wealth advisors and all that. I always had a little bit of a negative view on that. And then all the life insurance stuff that I always get pushed onto. So I had that. And then when I showed up, it actually, everything changed, you know. And when somebody can interrupt my like stubbornness and my thinking, I really appreciate that. So you did that. And I'm like, well, okay, you're somebody that we get to work with, you know, I get to work with. So
well, first of all, practice what you preach. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to hold you accountable for a moment.
Okay,
since we're business partners now. Yeah, you know, so when I left, first of all, I knew I needed to create my financial class, my literacy class of like how to not pay taxes like the wealthy. So that was like step one. So I had gathered 55 consultants for that who agreed to take on my students, which as you're learning, Alex, to have very niche people, like one of the fields that I'm in and I work with, there's only 16 people in the nation that do this. So we're talking like beyond 1%, right? And they knew me from my past life, and they said, you know what, for you and what you're doing, I'll do it, because my goal is to make as many millionaires. And I know it doesn't, to you and I, we're probably like, you probably need like 10 million now. But let's start with 1 million, because your first million is the hardest, right? And so I want to get everyone their first million that wants and is able and willing to, you know, take advice. And then I want to take that million and then grow it, right? Because I think once you know this, once you have your first million, then that gives you the base, right? And you can really start turning on the engine to earn more money. So I was on a hunt for not a financial services firm. I wanted a wealth management firm. And I was hunting high and low, wide and left. And everyone was like, no, they have to have $10 million. No, they have to have $10 million. Nope, too small. Nope. And I'm like, who the heck am I? I was actually really desperate. And then Tanner and we knew each other. And he was like, Jacqueline, I think you're influential enough. You'll be able to convince the founders. I think I can do it for you. I don't know if we're really like a wealth manager firm, but we're doing a lot of things and I don't even understand it, which I was like, okay, I'll entertain it because I love growing companies. And like, there's nothing more than I love more than to have a friendly competition with founders. So I met CJ first. And I was like, oh man, this guy's like so Silicon Valley. I don't know if I can handle this. But then I kept talking and you know me, I'm like layers of the onion, like don't judge a book by the cover. Let's go down 5 layers, right? Like who is this person and what makes them tick? And then I know their motivations and I know if I want to work with them or not. And then if I want to work with them, then it's like power of influence and negotiations, right? Because everything we do every day is a negotiation. So it worked. Like I actually realized he has a really big heart. He just has a really big wall, which I understand because that used to be me. And I was like, okay, I'm going to break through this wall and get him to see my vision and my power and what I'm doing and my goals. And he was kind of like, yeah, whatever, just come in, whatever. You know, he kind of like rolled his eyes at me and I was like, it's fine. And Tanner was like, yeah, come in because you use these massive life insurance policies for your tax planning. I'm all about it and teach me, right? So he was like in it temporarily for the money to get me underneath him. And I was like, whatever, I'll come over. And then I met Brian. And you know, Brian, like, first of all, when you see him on camera, he looks about as big as me, but he's like, I met him and I literally was like, hi, straight up. I had no high heels on and I was like, this guy is huge. And I had no idea, but he's like this gentle giant, right? And he's like, yeah, you know, CJ said I need to call you because you're probably going to blow up my business. And I just want to know who you are and what you do. So Brian and I kind of hit it off. And I was like, well, you know, I want to build a fund. I showed him how I'm building my businesses, my 4 businesses. And he was like, you are certifiably a genius. Like you understand how to build an ecosystem, one that's going to monetize. 2, once they're in your system, you have every solution for them. You've brought in all the right strategic partners. You brought in all the right partners. He's like, you know, I like you. I think it's going to work. And then today on the phone, he was like, girl, I don't know what you're doing to my business, but like, I can't even keep up with you. And I was like, we have a joke for all of you who are on the phone and don't know. I think you know, Alex. The joke is I just want to be a socialite and help as many people, which means I have to get out there, which means I'm the introverted self that I am has to like really stretch myself and go into a space that exhausts me to find as many people.
It's so funny, first of all, that a lot of, you know, people with awesome personality, like you say, I'm introverted, right? I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. But, you know, I get it because there is a part of you that probably, you know, and me too, sometimes I'm just quiet. I just chill. Like, I don't really want to be around too. Actually, no, that's not me. I'm always wanting to be around people. But, you know, yeah. I get when some people are like, you know, I don't want to. My wife is a great social butterfly. She's a unicorn. She's a peacock. And then when she's home and she just doesn't want to see people, she doesn't want to see people. I'm always like, let's go.
Yeah, no, that's not me. That's Ernesto. That's not me.
That's why me and him are great.
I'm like, yeah, so I'm going to stay home and pack and get ready for my next trip and sleep for the first time in 3 weeks. But I'm getting better. Like my ability to stretch is getting longer. Like I lasted 3 weeks this time before I dipped out on you guys. But yeah, it's just one of those things, you know, like I think for me, and I think this is what resonates between us, right? Like money is money. Money comes, money goes. It's fickle, right? And so if you're going to do business with people, and especially in commercial real estate, right? These deals are very long. A lot happens in 5 years. Like I just look at the last 3 weeks, right? The 3 weeks you and I went through together. Yeah, and I'm like, insane. Like, I feel like I'm getting helicoptered and like, they're like, you passed the level. We're taking you to a whole nother world. Right. And I'm like, whew, I got to hold on. Right. And so it's one of those things, like, I loved Proxy Financial because they're so great at opening their arms. They're willing to listen. They grew 1,200% year over year last year, and they blamed the Vegas office. And I was like, well, hey, don't mind that huge acquisition you did over there, but that's cool. Thank you for seeing what we're doing here in Vegas. And they're just, you saw them, like the whole award ceremony, they do that in front of all their clients because they want their clients to know, like, who's killing it and who's up there. And I'm going to get my QR code this year, Alex. I'm going to get it. So I'm going to get my diamond. You guys, the joke with the firm is if I bring in enough clients and enough money, which I'm not even trying to, this isn't a goal of mine. It's just organically happening. I told them I want a QR code made out of diamonds that people can scan when I'm at conferences. So I can just be like, they'll be like, oh, what's your business card? I'm like, right here, son. Like, just pull it out. Right.
That's perfect for you.
It was CJ's joke. He's like, girl, I'm just going to ice you with a diamond QR code and just send you off into the room. And I was like, okay, because I have gotten really good. Like, I know how to run through a room. I figured out a system that works for me. It's like, walk up, make a joke with every single person in the room and figure out where their energy is, where their level is. Do they engage? Do they sass back? Are they witty? Are they serious? And then I know how to gauge them. And then I can ask a serious question and get to know what they do. And then I come back. I just leave them. Like, you got to leave people with anticipation. And then they're like, where'd that girl go? And what was her name? She didn't even tell me who she was. Right? But they'll always remember my face.
You do that. I actually see you do that. So this is very interesting, right? This is kind of like a little bit more opposite of what I've been telling you guys, but that doesn't mean it's wrong, right? I mean, you got to be very authentic to your game, to your
yes.
Yeah, to your thing. So, you know, I see you do that, and I do see everybody looking for you all the time.
Yes.
So, like, you're still always surrounded by people.
So there's a huge sociology, psychology method, and human brains don't like anything that's open. So when I get off the stage, I always drop the mic, and it's the most important thing and the thing everybody wants to know and the thing everybody's like drooling and salivating. Like, when I left JT Fox's stage, I left them with, if you have a 3.5% mortgage at $250,000, you can pay this off in 4.5 years. In fact, you can do it with any mortgage at that rate. It's just stopping the amortization chart and having enough rental income. And I left them, like, I literally put it up and I went, boom, 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 boom. And then I put my music on and I walked off the stage, and it was like, and literally they were just like, what just happened? And then I couldn't even get out from back the stage. Like, backstage, they had a door into a hallway at the hotel, and there was like a line all the way to the end of the hallway. And Ernesto was like, I couldn't find you. I was like, I couldn't find my own way out. I was like, I'm exhausted. I need 10 minutes. And then there's like a line of people, and I get really weird reactions. Like, some people cry and they're like, oh my God, I like need you. Other people are like, oh my gosh, you're the savior, right? I get really funny reactions. And then they're like, and you need to tell me how. And I'm like, yeah, set up a call. Here's my QR code. Put my $100 bill in front of their face, right? And then they think it's real. And then they have that grieving moment of, it's not real. It's like the whole time I'm pulling their emotions up, down, but my money gun is real. But then Vanilla Ice threw out my business cards, which were fake. So it's like, if you get people guessing and they can't figure out who you are and what your game is, human brains, I'll give you the whole, like, I can give you the name of the whole study that was done and the conclusions and the syndrome that's called, like, human brains don't like open loop. If you give someone a full, complete story, they feel like they know you. They have no need to come and see you again. But I always go back through the crowd before I leave. I don't know if you notice me do that too. And then I spend more time with them. So I run through and figure out, okay, who are the power players that I'm going to prioritize, and who's doing what I want to talk to, who's doing what I need to do for the right reasons. Like, I need to help these people because they're really struggling. And these are the people I really want to give back to and give my time to. So I'll categorize people like, these are the A-listers, these are the B-listers, and these are C-listers. C-listers are like chugging along, doing great by themselves. No offense, I would have put you in a C category until I met you in person, and I was like, yeah, I actually like vibe, because I don't,
okay.
your heart didn't lead in our first meeting. But I could tell you had a big heart, but you weren't like shining it like you normally do. Maybe you have an off day, but I love your laugh. Like just your laugh alone is like contagious. So I totally misread you online when we had our Zoom meeting, but and
Wow,
then I was like,
interesting,
man,
because
we're
we
going
had
to
a Zoom
date.
meeting for a really long time.
We did, which is why I was like, how did I feel left hanging? But it's good because we both felt left hanging. So then we were thinking about each other. So then when we were both in
So
Dallas,
I
we
pulled
met,
your
right?
move.
So it works. It works. But yeah, but you're doing great. Like and if you don't feel you need me, I'm not gonna bother you. That's what I mean by C. Like C, it's like you're financially stable, you've got a mission, you got a purpose, you're chugging along. Like I don't need to just like don't fix if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? So you're one of those I would just be like, they're safe, they're good, they're doing well, they're gonna make it. I don't need to worry about those people, right? But then the A-listers are like, they're either going to help my business somewhere, some way, some way or another. And I want to build that rapport with them, not ask for anything. And the others are like, those people really need me. Those are the people I really want to help. Those are the people that I can impact a lot. So,
okay. So let's get into that. Let's get into the, like, what is it that you can build? So this call is really on why the wealthy invest in real estate, but also you have a lot of other tools. And this is what I really kind of want to get into. We joked around for a good amount of time now, but you have an actual map, right? Like you have different pieces of the puzzle. I say this a lot on my calls, like in real estate, is to know all the pieces of the puzzle. But I didn't know that I only had all the pieces of the puzzle of like the United States, like one continent, because there's a lot of other things. There's a lot of other pieces, like how you can use different types of insurances that I was really close to. And then you have trusts, right? I mean, you got me like, I feel like I got to go get a trust like today.
you do. Don't be that mean husband that like randomly croaks and leaves their wife hanging. Like, don't do it if you're the moneymaker, guys. Don't be that jerk. Like, they already have to deal with losing you, and then to be like, where's all the properties, where's all the money, now I gotta hire somebody, and that is the last thing they want to think about. And then they're not getting money, and then they don't know how to survive, and then they're in panic mode and grief and this. I see it all the time, Alex, all the time. And you know what my clients say? The ones that have life insurance policies that we use as tax deductions, not really for life insurance, they literally like, man, my husband's policy paid out. First of all, I call. The minute I get news there's a death, I call. But I can't believe you called me, not an admin. And then the second thing they say is, that thing paid out within 5 days. And now I can breathe and I can do the funeral and I don't have to worry and I don't have to think about it. And it's like life insurance is like automatic. If it's not questionable and it's not suspicious, it just pays. It pays faster than anything. And if you don't have a will and a trust, it's going to go to probate in every state. And then you got to go to court and fight for what's yours. It's whack, man. It's so messed up. And then this poor wife or husband who lost everything is like, what do I do? Right. And then if they're rich enough, they can hire an attorney if they have money in the bank. Right. But everybody's in a different situation. And it's hard enough to pay $10,000 for a funeral for 85% of Americans. That really is a very difficult bill. And so, I do different strategies for, like, I would say open up my fan of reasons, right? And the only thing in life that's guaranteed is death. And the other thing that is certain, which you can make other choices, but they're just not as beautiful, is taxes. And you don't have to pay taxes if you enjoy the county jail. I mean, like, definitely that's your choice. However, this space won't work. And I know the grass is greener because there's no grass over there. Because I've actually been in jail. So it's one of those things, like, I always tell people, like, when you're looking at your life, if you all of a sudden one day just helicoptered out, what would your partner or parents or kids, if you're single parent, what would they do? How would they know? Have you talked to them? Like, Americans have this massive taboo about talking about death. And I'm like, you're gonna die. Everything in life is temporary. Everything. It's like, think of it as like Squid Games minus people shooting at us, because that's not allowed anymore. But like, it could have been back in the like cowboys and Indian days, right? So it's one of those things, like if you think about life as Squid Games, your time could come up at any point. We don't know. We don't know. We don't always get to pick. I think you can pick in some circumstances. But it's one of those things, like it's just certain. So why are we so embarrassed to talk about death? It's like, we don't even want to think about it. We don't even want to look about it. We don't want to, and I'm like, right? Like your little wife, she's so adorable and she's Canadian. Like, what would she know about America? She's gonna be calling me. I'd be like, help. Right? Like this poor girl. Like, and it's not because I think she's not capable, not at all. But it's when you're in grief, it really, really stops the way you're not logical anymore. You're like off in la la land, emotional land, and you can't function. I only know because I've been there. When my grandpa died, I was like, I was in complete denial he died until 6 months later. And I called him and his voicemail picked up and I was like, I'm never going to hear his voice again. Then it hit. But it's one of those things, like grief is weird and everybody grieves differently. Some people get mad. Some people become absolutely non-functional, and you don't know your person always. And so until you've seen them in that circumstance. So it's one of those things, like life insurance to me is so fundamental for millions and plethora of reasons. And I'll give you another example. During COVID, I saw all these mom and pop shops closing in the middle of like the richest cities in the world, right? I'm like, I have Apple, Google, Facebook. Like I could literally drive a half a mile and they're all right here. YouTube, WhatsApp. And I'm like, yet these, like, God bless Gen Zers. I think they're going to save our entire ecosystem. Like I have massive faith in Gen Zers. They're rallying, like, save our local coffee shop, donate money. And I'm like, man, where's the boomers with all the money? Like they ain't here. They don't care. Right. And it took a rich IPO 27-year-old to actually save a coffee shop and pay the rent for 2 years. But it shouldn't come down to that. We should be able to save ourselves, and we really should be self-reliant. And, like people ask me all the time, like, how are you still single? And I'm like, because I'm really picky. Like this man that's going to have my babies, like I need to know if I disappear, my kids are going to be taken care of. It's war. Like this is war. We are in war right now. I treat every day like I'm going to
this
war.
Man that's going to have your baby is so full.
Yes. So but it is, right? It's like, if I disappear, are my kids going to get hugged? Are they going to get loved? Are they going to be treated properly? Are they going to, like, I think about these things. Like, don't worry about the money. I got the money. Like, that's not the problem. I worry more about like the nurturing state of life. And so, yeah, it's important. But I ran to my kickboxing coach because I was like, oh my God, my gym shut down and I'm pissed off. And I want to go smack some bags right now after everything. I just got out of all these stupid meetings about, I was working for Gilead, who made the remdesivir, which was the COVID drug that saved everybody. And we were on like nonstop high alert. It was awful. So I ran to my kickboxing coach and I was like, Coach, tell me you have a life insurance policy. And he literally was like, babes, the only reason I've been in business 10 years because I have an IUL. And I was like, oh, thank God. Right. Like I was like, yes. Okay. And then I was like, so you're going to survive. Cool. I got to go to the next people in my inner circle. Right. And it was like so odd that this is the first question I'm asking, because like Walt Disney closed all their doors, their parks, their studios, everything, and didn't lay off a human, because Walt Disney Company was made because Walt Disney couldn't get a loan. So he used his life insurance policy cash value. He took a loan. And it's one of those things, like Walt Disney had like over $1 trillion in life insurance for emergencies they don't control, right? But they don't want to have to fire good people because they've trained them, they've coached them, they've educated them. These people are doing a great job. The business is great. They don't want to lose them. That's expensive to retrain people. So they don't want to fire people. So that was their plan. So it's one of those things, like life insurance is so critical. Trust to some degree, depending on where you are. I had a call earlier with a wonderful, big, crazy rich Asian over the weekend. And she was like, Yeah, so you have an irrevocable trust, right? I heard you say on stage, you only paid your ex $8,500 out of the goodness of your heart to pay his legal bills after your divorce, but you owed him nothing. And I was like, no, it was a separate property trust. It was revocable. And she couldn't understand that. She's like, I don't understand. I'm like, well, every state is different, has different rules. I didn't want to pay for the administrative burden. So like every state and every person's facts are like independently a Rubik's Cube, right? Like there's no one answer. There's no one blanket template. There's guidelines and there's some semblance thereof. Like I have a kid who's 25. I'm working on his taxes right now and doing tax planning with him. He does real estate. He's a real estate professional. So the quickest way for me to get him not to pay taxes is to put money in a fund. So go put money in this fund. It's going to give you a massive lift of depreciation, and that's going to wipe off all your taxes. It's simple. He's got the cash. He's rich. He made it, right? He did it. So he doesn't need a trust at this point because he owns nothing. He's like 25 and making millions. And like, it's all margin. There's like, it's like 90% margin. So he's like, what do I do? And I'm like, I got you. Don't worry about this. But someone who's doing like a services business has a different structure, and we have to approach it very differently. Yeah.
So we have to understand the tax side. Obviously, the insurance side and all of that, that's for peace of mind. I think peace of mind is so important.
Security.
Yeah, when we go and make investments and stuff, right? Like we need to have at least things that are taken care of at home.
Yes.
Right?
So there's a foundation we always work on. That changes as your lifestyle grows, which you've probably had a couple of lifestyle growths. We need to start stacking you up, buddy. But yeah, you're right. There's like a financial base, and that financial base is composed of life insurance. There's 3 pillars: life insurance, stable, safe assets, which grow tax free or tax deferred. And then there's like your riskier investments. And this is the part that's going to grow. But as you make more money, you kind of just keep laying on the layers thicker and thicker and thicker. And then that's when, you know, literally the whole world could collapse. You could lose everything and you're not going to be impacted at all. So we use tax planning as a component of that, because if you save money in any area, you're automatically compounding your money, right? By reducing costs, you've already compounded. So that's why I always go in first and cut down all their costs as a favor for them. And then we work on how do we make you more money, right? And and then
so that's super exciting. I mean, I think it's really interesting that you build like that foundation part, because a lot of us in the real estate and multifamily side, we're just like, wait, let's just move everything out of whatever we have and let's go buy real estate, right? Because it's kind of like real estate's the way to go. But, you know, since I've been working with a lot of, you know, different circles, now I'm running in different circles. There's the real estate that's like, you know, got some cash flow, you know, got mostly dependent on appreciation for the multiplier, right? And the tax savings. So it's got a little bit of everything in there. Then you have like businesses that are mainly focused on cash flow, right? Like when you own a business, you probably have much higher cash flow. And then you have like the really risky tech investments that's like Uber and Turo that you're going to get like, you can get like 1,000, 5,000x on your money at some point. I was talking to CJ. So CJ Watson, I met so many cool people this week. It was crazy. Actually, ever since I met Jacqueline, the amount of the caliber of people that she first introduced me to, and then all the way, just like one person opened up so many doors too. I don't know what happened. I ended up meeting CJ Watson, who used to play in the NBA. I know who he is. He played with Derrick Rose. He played on Orlando. He played on the Nets with Darren Williams and all those guys. So I know who CJ Watson is. He's at this event, and me and him really kicked it off. And he's like, dude, my friend invested $50,000 in, I think it was Turo, like in the beginning. And he ended up with $11 million. $50,000 invested in something and getting 11 million, right? So if you have the foundations kind of taken care of, like you can go and gamble on some of these things that may pay off from 50K to 11 million.
Yeah.
So I think that part, a lot of it was missing. It is actually missing in all the real estate teachings out there, including my own. I realized that I have a gap, right? I'm like full real estate. I don't need to do anything. When we first met, that's probably why you're like, who's this guy? Because I'm like, I don't need anything. I just have real estate. I got a whole bunch of stuff and that's all I need, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, Yeah, well, if you died, your wife would have a really hard time getting all that stuff. And so, and it's funny because literally we're doing this whole thing of taking uh Tony Hsieh's legacy properties over, and that's exactly what happened. Even somebody at that level, with $1 billion, didn't have a trust. All of his properties went into probate.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, he didn't have a wife or kids or whatever. So, it was up to the parents and family members, but still, I see the importance of it, and it was really meeting you and meeting some of the people at Proxy that really opened my eyes to it. So I think this conversation is extremely important. And so that kind of leads me. Wait, what time is it? I'm gonna stay on track. Okay, we got another like 5 minutes. So that kind of leads me to your educational platform, right? Like I
Yeah.
feel so honored that you invited me to be a part of it. And I got to see some of the caliber of people that are going to be teaching your educational platform. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And then also what you got going on, like upcoming?
Yeah. So one of my businesses is my universities. I'm starting with my real estate university. And that one, as you see in the conference name, is Real Estate Wealth Summit, because so many real estate people are going to be really upset when I'm done talking on stage. I had a guy call me today, and he's like, I got to sell this $40 million portfolio, and I don't want to 1031 it because I don't want to go up. But I was told you have the answers. And I was like, I got you. We can diversify it. You'll be fine. We'll fix you up. And he was like, okay. And I was like, we'll defer all the taxes, right? So it's one of those things, like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And then the who you knows will connect you to what you need, right? And so I think you're seeing that in the upper circles. It's very generous and it's very overwhelming. And it happens like that,
really
right? You're seeing that. You're seeing that. And it's one of those things, like when I left corporate America, my ex was like, you could be the next Grant Cardone. You're funny enough. You're crazy enough. Like, you could do it. And I was like, half of what he's saying is not even true and right. It's not accurate. He's telling you to just cash out your 401k and go buy real estate when you don't have to pay the tax and the early withdrawal fee. Like, what? And this guy's got how many followers? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, this is unacceptable, right? And I started seeing all these social media influencers spewing crap. And I was getting really angry. And I was like, I'm going to build a whole channel where I just talk shit about them. I'm just going to get on and be like, and you know why you don't listen to them? Because, right? And then I was like, well, I don't really want to be known as that girl. I like to have a little bit more grace, and I don't really like to call people out, but I'm like, how do you get the message across, right? So then I was like, okay, you're smarter than this. You've got a great network. So I built the university. And yes, my university is stacked. We've got a 28-year-old with 7 companies making $7 million. 3 of them are in real estate. All the way who I'm training to build into private equity. He's my mini me. All the way to a man who's raised almost $3 billion in capital for real estate and businesses, all the way to a man who is on The Apprentice, and he's on CNBC, Fox Business, all of these channels as a business advisor. And I have to say, like, Ernesto and I were sitting back last weekend. He's one of my business partners. And we were like, man, I can't wait for this event because it's going to be so amazing, just to the caliber of people. Like, I'm bringing Wall Street to real estate coaching, but I'm like, let's call each other educational mentors. Like, it sounds more sophisticated. I'm like, I don't want to be known as a guru, a coach. I don't know everything. Do I know a lot in real estate? Yeah, I've been doing real estate since I was 15. Do I know a lot about money? Yes, because I was determined to not be like my family. But it's one of those things, like, I'm super excited. And then, like, yesterday, can I make my announcement now?
Yeah. What? Yes. Actually, wait. Hold on. Nick. Or wait, is Jordan here? Jordan, I saw Jordan here, right?
I saw her pinging me.
Jordan, Nick, somebody. Okay, can you guys put the link to that conference and with something?
Yeah, with the discount code. If they don't, I can do it. Yeah, so it's one of those things, like, I want to really bring the right education. It's not just learning a strategy, because when you're one trick pony, as we know, some social media influencers, we won't name names, and when your one trick doesn't work all the time, because markets change, economies change, you know what the one constant in life is? It's change. So just get used to it and like it and love it. And it's just life. You know what I mean? Like get comfortable with change because that's the only thing that's going to happen every day. And the more you embrace it and surrender to it, the more amazing it becomes. And so it's one of those things like, I want to bring money. I want to bring legal structuring. I want to bring scaling. Like I have people come to me and they're like, oh yeah, I paid $7,500 for a certain wholesaling course to learn to make friends with realtors. And I didn't even get to know anything about a CRM or anything that you're teaching, and you're selling it for $5. And I'm like, yeah, because it's not about the money for me. I'm not trying to make a whole nother 8 figures on my coaching. I'm trying to get the right people in who are capable, willing, and able to invest in themselves, which means they're going to be successful. And, you know, that was one of the things I saw at Pip's Path. 2% of their students actually did deals. And I was like, that is unacceptable. I interviewed all these people, Alex. I spent a whole year like taking care of myself and just understanding the market. And I was like, yes, we put it virtual is in now. And so, you know, I built this thing and now like I had to delay it in July because my main coordinator had like, her mom was dying. So I was like, okay, we can't do this when your mom's dying. This isn't going to work. So I delayed it. And you know, I'm so glad I postponed it to October from July because like, look at everybody that's coming. And then last night I was on the phone with Joe because Joe called me, which is really random at like 8:00 at night Pacific, which he's Pacific. I always remind myself for some reason, I think he's in Toronto. And he was like, hey, Jacqueline, like, I just got off the phone like earlier today, but I've been so busy and I didn't have time. I'm leaving dinner. I just wanted to give you a call. But he was like, David Meltzer is in. He wants to come to your university. And I was like, what? Why? He's like, because what you're doing has never been done before. And what you're teaching has never been taught before, because you're not just teaching real estate strategies. You're teaching, like, I'm going to get on stage and talk about flipping because I was on HGTV for flipping. I'm a huge flipper. My wheelhouse is flipping. I'm going to tell everybody, now is not the time to flip, guys. Stop flipping. I said it in May of 2022. Stop flipping. It's not going to be the strategy unless you have a niche of a niche of a niche and a system and a team that's already established, in which case you can do what you want to do. But if you're novice, it's just not the strategy. Right now we're going down. So what do we want to do? We want to do creative finance. We want to take over as many properties as possible. So we're going to be talking about the recession. We're going to be talking about what's coming up. Everyone in our circles, I'm sure you've heard a lot of people say this, survive to 25 because it's going to be a wild ride next year, you know, and it's going to be intense. But I'm super thankful that you gave me your team to put virtual together. And I'm super thankful they're willing to help me. And I just feel like I'm super blessed. Like this thing is just like, woo, 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 right? And then like now I'm calling Brad when I land. I literally am going to land in Dallas and get on the phone and be like, so what do you want to know about my university? Because I know Joe already told you everything, but he's going to come. We're going to do a VIP dinner for him, $2,500 a seat, because he wants certain caliber of people around him for what he does in his business. And we're going to have a
David Meltzer.
What's that?
David Meltzer or Brad?
David Meltzer.
Oh,
Brad
okay.
will be there. I'm sure Brad will be there. Yeah, no, sorry. David Meltzer. And we're going to do a VIP dinner for him specifically. He's not charging me. So he said, do this for me instead. And I'm more than happy to do it. So we're going to put all that together the evening of the 11th. So don't buy your tickets to leave on the 11th. And I'm super excited because I went to his in Vegas that he did here. And it was like, this is what kicked this whole thing off, Alex. It was like,
that's how all these people, yes! That's how I met all these people. Wow. See, look, I didn't go to David Meltzer's dinner, but I ended up meeting the people that I needed to meet. And it was amazing. Right.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jacqueline, for making that happen for sure.
Yeah. Well, I went because one of my operators in storage was like, Jacqueline, you have to come with me. And I'm like, I'm dressed in like jeans, like sparkly flip flops. They're like diamond out. I use them as conversation starters when I'm in like conferences. And yeah, I was like, this is not the appropriate attire for a dinner like this. Like, I need to be dressed to impress. And he's like, well, we don't really have time. So Martin was like, we're going to go. And I was like, oh boy, this is not comfortable for me. But nothing about entrepreneurial life has been comfortable. And I have to just remember to show up as my authentic self and everything will be fine. And it was like that was the day my whole like life got elevated and helivacked out to a whole nother level on top of what I've already been doing on top of. But I actually have watched David Meltzer at 3 events now. I'm of course to get in the room with him, I would pay $2,500 because I know the relationships. I mean, you see what came out of it, right? It's like those are the people who are making things happen, right? Joe's getting ready to sell his company in Q2. We've got Thomas who's launching his platform and wanting to grow and build and get capital in tech, right? Real estate tech totally works in what we're doing, right, Alex? It's like perfect Venn diagrams of everything, right? And so I'm just like, it's meant to be. Like when you're in circles that are like you or that you want to be like, it just works. And people always ask me like, why are you so successful? And I'm like, because I always make sure I'm the dumbest one in the room.
Yeah, I think something that's really important that you said is like being in the right room too. Because right now, I think people are just, let's just be in rooms, right? Let's just be in any room. Let's just meet a whole bunch of people that are just kind of doing the same things, running around with their heads cut off. And I'm noticing this because this is what I did the first year and a half. Now, it was great. I met a whole lot of people. It's awesome. A lot of people did the same thing and really just kind of fell off. But being in that right room, and it's like exclusive rooms like this.
Yeah. You have to pay to play.
Yeah, intimate, exclusive rooms, like not just VIP at a conference, right? Because the VIP at a conference is great, but it's kind of, you got to narrow down. You got to find the right room.
Whose conference, right? Whose conference are you going VIP at?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's why, like, I want to bring my Wall Street friends. And I brought my Wall Street friends, my Wall Street caliber, Fortune 500 trained brains into a university. And like, somehow I convinced them all that like, you're not going to make a lot of money, but we're going to do this together and we're going to have a lot of fun. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. And yes, again, I want people who can pay because you have to pay attention. If you give stuff out for free, it builds good followings. But it's not the right followings always, right? And you really have to really start needling and whittling out people, right? And it's just part of life, unfortunately. But the people at the top are not at the top by mistake, right? They're there because when they believe they deserve to be there. I mean, I came from a really financially disastrous family. Let's just define it that way. It was like living on a student teacher's salary at $22,000, making $8 million overnight, and then 3 years later being bankrupt. Like, how much of a roller coaster in like 5 years can you go through as a child, right? You're like, what the heck? And like, when I showed up at the firm, I did not think I deserved a seat there. In fact, one of the partners, she pulled me into a project. She's like, hey, we're going to move $5 billion in 30 minutes. And I was like, right? Like, I was shell-shocked. But it was one of those things, like, she looked me square in the face. She handed me a book and she said, listen here, money's not emotional about it, so don't be emotional about it. It's not going to hug you. It's not going to be on your deathbed. It's just a tool. You tell it what to do and it's going to do what you tell it to do. And like, I had to completely change my whole mindset. And Ernst & Young, it was like boot camp every freaking day of changing my mindset because I was in a room I wasn't comfortable in. I was in a room I felt I deserved to be in because I wasn't going to continue my family cycles. And I was like, I have to break the trauma bonds and I have to break this. And it was the most uncomfortable thing. But I think the one thing that's always been great in my life is I've always been uncomfortable. And I've always known there's more than two parents fighting every day. And there's more to life, right? So it's like, if I can teach people half of what I've learned through my university and bring amazing people with me to do it, because this isn't the Jacqueline Matoza show. It's a university for people to learn different thoughts from different people and different styles. Like, I'm super stoked. And like, I don't know. I'm like pinching myself. I don't know about you. I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I pulled it off.
I'm kind of like nervous. Like, you invited me to go and speak at your thing and then be in this university. I'm like, looking at the names of who's there, I'm like, holy shit, what am I doing? And getting into that, and it's also being in the right room. Right now, I know, like, okay, wherever you're going, that's where I'm going for a while. Like until she's like my ceiling, which she's probably not going to be my ceiling ever. But until that happens, I'm like, okay, Jacqueline, where are we going?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's been such a crazy 3 weeks since we met. Has it only been 3 weeks?
In person, since we met in person.
Okay. But it's just been nuts. Okay. It's been so nuts. Like, so many doors. Like, I'm like, whoa, am I like about to be like 100 million there? Like a billion? That now is telling me, I'm like, whoa, like all it took was meeting one person and yes, at the top, like everybody when they like you is super generous. And
So,
I think we're gonna leave off at this part is institutional money. Okay, like I realized in this last 3 weeks
so
that
important.
look, and well, also they're none of them are looking at your deals.
No.
We're so focused on deals, like every Grant Cardone. Number one is the deal. Number one, everyone's like, number one's the deal. Number one is you. Like, I realize that 3 out of the 5 criterias in which they judge if they're gonna give you money or not is you. It's on you. It's like all on you. It's all looking at you and painting you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people don't know that. People are like, oh, it's not about me. It's not about people. It's about the deal. No, it's like very little about the deal.
Yeah.
So that's been very eye opening, and and as people go and find, like for example, like you don't even know what my course is, you don't even know what it looks like, but you're like, hey, can you come and teach this because it's you, right? It's the person. We know at least like where it's coming from, how it's gonna come, right? And so like I think raising capital institutional too and with funds, right?
Yeah.
Because before meeting you, I actually had a limit of how much I think I could raise. And then after meeting you and then all of this, I'm
No.
like, wait. I'm like,
Leverage,
okay,
Alex,
yeah.
leverage.
So yes, but it's also because you've opened doors to so many people that are like, yeah, that's like nothing. Or yeah, like that's gonna happen like overnight. Or yeah, don't do a $30 million fund. Like if you have a vision this big, you should minimum be 100. And I'm like,
Did you see
what?
my quote I posted on my Instagram stories yesterday?
No, tell me.
It was Mark Wahlberg's.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, right?
It
How
was so
appropriate
good.
was it?
It was perfect.
It was perfect,
I've
right? So
got
I'm going to say the quote so everybody
okay,
on
go
the
ahead.
phone can hear it because I I don't share this a lot. I went all in on myself. I took money out of my 401k. I sold all of my real estate. I went all cash and went all in on myself, which is probably not the best thing I did, but it was very important for me to go all in on myself because if I don't believe in me, no one's going to believe in me. And I've been talking a lot about it in these conferences that I go to. And it's very uncomfortable for me because I've always had like this fat stash of cash sitting and, all this stuff. And so there's a quote from Mark Wahlberg and it says, God never gives you a dream that matches your budget. He's not checking your bank account. He's checking your faith.
Checking your faith.
He's checking your faith. Like, do you believe you can do it? Right? So the fact that I went all in, right? Like I actually had a therapy session this morning and I'll share it with you guys. It was like, she was like, man, what are all these tears coming out today? Like you're really emotional for what? Because I'm not picking up grief. I'm not picking up sadness out of you. And I was like, I feel like I made it. I feel like after these 3 weeks, like I'm exactly where I need to be. I'm exactly with who I want to be with. I'm going to look to my right. I'm going to look to my left. And when I'm 7-year-old, I'm going to look to my right. I'm going to look to my left. And I know these people are ride or die. And I know these are the family. This is the family my little inner child has always been looking for. And I can't believe I made it. And like my little girl is still like, are they going to leave me? Are they going to abandon me? And my adult self is like, yes, I freaking made it. And it's not about money, right? Like I am probably the most broke I've been in the last 5 years. And I'm like, but I feel so rich. And I know it's temporary because everything in life is temporary, right? And I know all these things. I've been through this. I've burned myself down to ashes and rebuilt myself probably 11 times at this point. So it's one of those things like every day, like I feel like in the last 3 weeks, I had to burn myself because there were some limiting beliefs like, oh, I don't need to go to this event. I'm not dressed properly. I was going to let my clothing affect me meeting all these crazy people, right? And then I was like, Jacqueline Ann, don't you dare. Dude, I like had to burn myself back down and start rise from the ashes again, right? In that moment. And it was like, I have to correct myself all the time. And I'm on top of myself and I'm super accountable. But it's one of those things like, it is who you are, right? And I've always known I was this utopian. My ex-boyfriend used to get really mad at me. Like, why are you so utopian? It's not possible. Like 1 out of every 2 relationships is going to end up in divorce. And I was like, bye, like, bye, Felicia. Right. Like you're not my person because my person is going to be on my right and he's going to be on my left. And I'm going to have all these cool people. And like, I get asked all the time, like, what is success? Success is, it's my birthday. It's a holiday. We mob up to a mansion. I have 2 long bench seats and there's 60 people. And I'm like, all of these people are going to be in my life until I die. And that's life. That's living. That's really sucking the marrow out of it, right? It's not money. Money is a vehicle. Wow. And like the number of people who tell me you changed your life, you changed my life. The number of people who are like, ever since I met you, like you hearing this today, I'm like, this is why I'm doing entrepreneurship, because I want to take people and shotgun them. Like, you will be 9 figures. You will. You're going to be 9 figures before you even know it.
What was that quote? We don't work for money. We work for what?
I don't know the word. I work for people telling me I changed their lives.
Yeah, we work for you changed my life.
Yeah, like that's what I work for. It's not about the money. I need a lot of money because I want to do really big things, right? I want to take on the US education system. I want to take on the VA. I want to take on these massive institutions that just, excuse my language, they just suck. And it's like, you are sucking so bad that I'm so angry, I'm going to fix this myself. And I need crazy people who believe in it too, right? Like the communes.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The communes I'm going to build for veterans who are leaving. Like, you know, I got another TV show off of that, my not-for-profit that I haven't even built. They're like, oh, come on my TV show. I'm like, wait, I haven't even built this thing. But so, like, it works.
We are. I know Fraser had a question, but I'm gonna get to the end. We got to get to this quiz game because we're kind of running behind on time. But this is perfect because now you just dropped all this amazing things, and you're gonna be like, "Bye, y'all," and then
bye, Felicia.
Well, so put your contact or whatever way you want people to contact you. Put the conference stuff, and then I think there's a code that you put in there or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put your code. I'm gonna give you credit.
Okay, sure.
See, give him back.
Thank you.
Okay, so real conference quick,
Jacqueline, the Money Queen. I love you, Alex. What you guys are saying here, you guys mentored me in Dallas when we were all together. I just got off the phone with a friend and I was saying the same thing. Proximity is power. People have these limiting beliefs because they're scared. My question is, what can you tell them to do to stop living in fear? Because you said the first million was your hardest. I made my first, I made my second. Once the industry went down, I started losing a lot of money. That's when my fear kicked in. Other people, my fear might be in the middle, but people aren't acting because they don't have the resources. When they lose, when they don't have the options, the fear comes in. When they have so many options, they don't know what to do. That's anxiety. So when we're talking about fear, how do people move past fear?
Mm-hmm.
So while Jacqueline's putting in all that information, look, here's the way to your answer. The answer is going to be, you're going to need to look at things that you're afraid of, right? Like, less worried about what I'm going to tell them, but all you have to look at yourself. How did I overcome fear? How did you overcome making $2 million, losing money, and then like still finding faith again, still finding, I got to go to these conferences and I got to meet these people, right? So the answer is going to be in your overcoming of fear.
Really good answer. And that's it. Proximity is power. Yeah. How did I meet you, Alex, at a conference? Who'd you introduce me to? Jack. I introduced Jacqueline to my buddy who's a vet who's starting a fund to help vets. Like, it's the live conferences. That's exactly, wow. How I came through it is the answer you just gave, bro. Amazing.
The answer is usually right in front of you, right? So, okay, so I want to get to the game. Now we are behind. Like, I'm getting text messages like, okay, it's time to go. So, we'll take like one more question. I know, Fraser, you had your hand up, so go ahead. Wait, Jacqueline, I don't see you writing anything in the chat. Did you put something in the chat?
I'm writing out everything for the conference. And then you guys can contact me. I mean, yeah, there's only one of me. Just Google me. I can't lie. Everything shows up.
Legends. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make it quick. 2 questions. One for Jacqueline. What's your thoughts on whole life insurance policies? And Alex, when is your conference going to be? Because I want to be there.
When is my conference?
Yeah, in Vegas.
His conference is my conference.
It's true.
we're in partnership now. Everything that's Alex is mine, and mine is Alex. No.
I'm game. I'm game.
We can do the next one in Vegas if you want, Alex. We can do the next one. Yeah.
So yes, I have been, Jacqueline has graciously invited me to speak at her conference. So it is October 8th to the 11th, right?
9th to the 11th.
Oh, 9th to the 11th. But don't leave on the 11th. Leave on the 12th.
Yes.
Because of the VIP dinner.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited. And that you are using Jordan and Natalie to do the virtual conference and to have them help you. Like when I threw my virtual conference, they killed it for me. So no, JJ, we're about to do look at that. JJ's back here just to do the breakout room. So I think what we're going to do actually is, Nick, did you prepare the game? Because I know you said you had a hard time.
I did.
You did.
10 questions.
10 questions. Okay, so let's go through that real quick. Wait, hold on. Did you want to finish what you were saying, Jacqueline?
Oh, he asked me about whole life insurance, but let's do the game. Right. If Nick has a hard stop, I can come back to it. I'll just parking lot that one.
Yeah, well, you can while we're signing into the game, you can answer that question.
Oh, okay. Whole life is better than term. Term is good in certain circumstances, but generally when you're young, term is trash. It's just an expense. So the one I really say don't do is term. It depends on, I use life insurance as a tax deduction. I personally like indexed universal life insurances because they perform better when you fund them properly. So again, not all life insurance agents are the same. Not all CPAs are the same. Not all attorneys are the same. Not everybody's the same, and no one runs the mathematics the same way. But if you overfund, it's called overfunding a life insurance policy, it takes the cost of insurance down, which then makes IULs overperform on a whole life. We can get 9.5% to 10% annually on our clients. Every 3.5 to 5 years, depending on what they're invested in, our clients are doubling their cash surrender value. So I just showed a kid to this week, he's going to be worth like $475 million if he does nothing else other than just print cash like he's doing. And he was like, what? He kind of had the Alex moment. What? 9 figures? Like what? I'm like, you guys are young. We got time, baby. So that's my take on whole life.
Yeah. And then just, you'll be able to ask Jacqueline more questions as,
I'll hang.
As you come to the conference and the virtual conference.
Yes. I want to see you all there. It's only $197 to join virtually, guys. I made it super affordable for y'all.
Okay. So Nick has put the link to the game. So let's see who is paying attention. Feel free to jump in too, Jacqueline, if you want, because I am.
Where is this game? What am I looking at?
Jacqueline should get first place at her own game.
Join the game. What is this game? I feel stressed. I wasn't ready for a test. I'm never ready for a test. I'm ESL. This is awful.
I'm ESL too.
I know. That's why we get along.
So those of you guys that don't know ESL is English Second Language.
Yeah, I moved here when I was 5. Wasn't even born here. Trivia. Okay. Brightful.
It's fun.
Are these like random?
They're based off of what you were talking about, so you should get first place.
Yes. Alex, 100% right here. Best test ever.
All right, so after this game, we will be doing one breakout room, so stay tuned for it. If you are not playing, I will still share my screen so you guys can see what's going on. Well, let's give you guys 5 more seconds to join. And if you're unable to get in or whatever, just let us know.
We're missing like 15 people.
15 people. Come on, chop chop.
Yeah, where do I do that?
In the Zoom chat. Got to open it up on Google. It's a brightful.me link.
I'm coming late. Someone asked me a question based off what I shared. I'm glad that they engaged on it because I can tell it's going to help them, and that was the point. Other than you guys know, I love you guys so much.
Listen, we know.
That's a
We
given.
know.
You're like
You
my
are- you
biggest
are-
cheerleader. I love it. Can you just walk around with me all day? My therapist would thank you.
Your therapist will lose their job.
No, she's amazing. She clears my energy. I had 4 people in the last 3 weeks tell me I'm glowing. I'm
Yeah, right. The energy, you're vibrating at a new frequency. I see a video of myself and I'm like, whoa. Before I'm like, oh, who's that guy? Yeah, that's amazing.
All right, we're getting started. 5, 4, 3, 2,
And a quarter. 1.5.
1. Okay, start it off. Let's go. 10
Alright.
questions. There's a boost. There's a boost.
A boost. I was just configuring the game
The quicker you
The quicker
answer.
you answer, and the
That's
number of.
stressed out. What is this question?
Okay, you guys see this rapid fire mode?
The
doing-
bottom. Well,
Okay, I'm
there's
gonna show
3
it to you.
power-ups. Yeah, make
Don't
sure you're
watch
not.
the screen, guys.
3
Okay, watch
power-ups.
the
I don't know what any of this means.
Yeah, this is confusing, but I'm gonna go for it.
Ah.
You've
by
been
the
on
way,
this call before.
the rich baby boomers are on the golf course with me.
I know where they are. I know where to
I
find
know where.
them. Don't worry about that.
Everyone, make
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
you're not on Alex's share screen. You're on your own browser if you're playing the game.
Oh, Alex, don't give the answers away. Share.
I'm just sharing. I'm sharing my screen. I'm playing too, but I'm sharing for those that are just kind of watching.
And nobody cheat on Alex. And make sure you're on your own share screen, not on Alex's.
I had to stand up for this. I'm like motivated now. I'm like,
Oh man, smart move. Yeah, get the juices
Olu,
going.
you're the last one.
come on.
It okay?
Do 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 do.
Alex, Jacqueline, this call was so perfect. I was literally telling my friend all the stuff you were saying, and now I'm gonna have him watch this. And he's stuck. I grew up with him. He has so much potential, and he's just stuck, and he's not taking
There you
action.
go.
It's like he's just driven by fear.
Yes, I got this right. Boom. 16
Alex,
points.
this is your quote. You should get this right.
Right. First of all,
Don't
hold
look.
on.
Don't look at his screen. You need to stop
No,
sharing.
but also
Oh
like
shoot!
my thing's
Yeah, stop
lagging.
sharing.
Yeah, Alex, it could be the share screen that makes it so much slower. Maybe you should stop sharing just this
Yeah.
one time.
I didn't get in time.
Oh, Hector, you were number 1.
I had fun last time.
Not yet.
Yeah, I didn't even.
Oh, I'm
Max
number 2.
Answered
Yes.
first.
I'm very competitive, guys. I don't like losing.
I know. Me too.
Max
Alright, I'm
is
gonna
in
stop
first. Jacqueline is in
Obviously.
second.
I'm gonna get there. Ooh. Yes, got this one.
Hopefully, you got your own quote right.
Did you like how excited I get though? Come on.
Oh, I'm this week. No controversial questions. I'm telling you, I didn't screw up. First time.
I love how stressed out you
Every
are.
single week, Nick messes up on one question.
There's always one question that gets objected to.
Max, you're so much
Oh.
faster.
Listen, you guys using your boost. You're using it too early.
I don't see the way to use the boost.
How do
It's
you
at the
use
bottom
boost?
of the screen. At the bottom
What
of the
is
screen.
boost?
You had to read the directions. One's
power
double
up.
points. One's 50-50.
Like
Tick,
Vin
tick.
Diesel said though, don't boost too early.
I don't know what I'm doing to know
What
if
does
I'm
the boost
boosting
do?
too early.
You only
Boost
get
from
to
the
only
bottom.
boost
one
once.
time.
I'm stressed.
Can you? What do you click the boost when you know you have the right answer?
Yes.
I don't know how to play because I didn't read because I'm ESL and I hate reading.
Yeah, I'm not a big direction guy. I'm not an operator. I'm a visionary connect the dots guy. According.
Power-ups are pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. All right. Says the prodigy.
I know. I'm like,
One's a double points.
Oh, I didn't even. I knew the answer and I just froze.
oh, Max,
so obvious.
dang. Max is killing it.
Max,
110, what the
That's
heck?
because Max.
The
Max is a
strategic double
genius, by the way,
points.
guys.
Strategic double
It's too
points.
early, Max. It's too early, bro.
Yeah, man, too early.
I'm losing.
Hey, it's never too early.
It's that.
Well, you
Well
also
said, man.
get bonuses
You're always
for the streak and the double
Right.
adds to the bonus.
Boom!
Doesn't the bonus only go up to 1.5x?
Oh, yeah, maybe you're right. It didn't go any
I
further.
don't even know how to use it.
At the bottom of the screen, Jacqueline, when you're answering the question, you'll see 3 power-ups.
Oh,
Ah, okay.
Look, Asians are talking right now. That's why.
I'm 6th. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yes, I know
This
this
is a-
one.
Really?
I'm too busy clicking quickly to look at the bottom.
Oh,
That's
no.
my issue. Okay. I
This
see
is
it.
a tough one. This
Oh.
is a tough one.
Yeah.
She only
Oh,
said
I
this
think I
once at the
screwed it up.
beginning of the day.
Oh, I
Right.
got it. Okay. Wow. I think I dropped though. I took too long.
Ooh, so
Oh,
we'll use a
I-
50-50.
Okay, Max. You did the
Alex,
50.
Alex,
You got it
Alex is
wrong.
coming.
I
Alex is
pulled
coming for me.
ahead. Yes, I'm number 3.
Thanks for sharing with us, Jacqueline, about the personal stuff about, the therapy. Because I go to one too. My wife made me do it, but they are gold. Like,
Bro,
we should
you
all be
can't
talking
you
to
can't
people.
talk while I'm trying to read, man.
She made me do it.
Read.
Oh my God. I just, all right.
7.
3 more
We always
questions.
try to talk to screw everyone up.
I know.
Jacqueline, ooh,
Oh, I
everyone's
got
close.
dropped. Monica.
Battle for first place here.
I need a mouse. I'm not clicking fast enough.
Did you use your double points?
I did.
All right.
I did too.
Oh no, Alex.
I use the double points, but how can I use the other ones, Nick?
They're at the bottom. You can click the other ones.
But-
One allows you to answer
don't
2
give you points.
questions, and the other
Don't.
allows you to cut it in half.
I
You
better
can
have
only,
pulled ahead. I use my double points. Yes, I'm number 2.
oh,
Alex, you don't
I've
play
been
this game.
dethroned.
I'll be okay
No.
losing to you because you're on my team. So we're still gonna make 9 figures.
That's right.
I put some
Yo.
great answers on this one. All right, guys.
Shit, I wrote the wrong answer. I said I'm a CPA because it says manger. It says Love
Oh,
Manger.
I got it right, Jacqueline.
Oh.
That's right. I know who you
All
are.
right. I spelled
I
it
thought
wrong.
it was
but
a
you-
trick.
Wow,
I thought it was
you
a trick
spelled it wrong,
question.
Nick. It's a you gotta
Guys. If you looked at that, it looks like manager. All right.
I dropped. I dropped. Oh, I lost my streak. I'm 4th.
Oh man, sorry. Not even top 3.
I'll try. Oh, I know this one. The prettiest for sure.
Oh, too easy.
So I have a sloppy bun on my head today.
Whoa, oh my god, what am I doing? I totally was not reading.
So you
Somebody
didn't get
was
it
joining the
right.
room.
Good. I have a chance of getting second.
No, Alex,
joining
did you
the room.
fumble?
Fucking love this.
I fumbled. Someone was joining the room. I was clicking accept.
Come on, pull me up to
No.
number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Number 2. Oh, I'm number 3.
Third.
Whatever. For a first timer, I'll take it.
Wow, I got an answer wrong and I still crushed it.
And the winner is, dude, I need a mouse to play this game, Alex. You want it
Sorry,
your
y'all.
game.
It's only because Jacqueline was here. You guys saw how competitive that I got.
240. Holy Toledo. And you messed up, man. Whew. That was impressive. That was fun. I'm
That was
sweating.
fun.
I was like getting really competitive there for a
Job,
minute.
guys.
All right, cool. So we're gonna go into a breakout room. So definitely if you stayed this far, you should probably go into a breakout room. Okay, if you're here, this is the time. So the question is gonna be you're gonna get 10 minutes. Okay, so 5 or 6 people are gonna be in a room. So whoever is the controller, just make sure everybody's 2 minutes each and share where you're from. What is your takeaway from today? What are you going to do differently tomorrow? And also, what's your hidden talents? Okay, any of those questions, use them as your icebreakers and support each other in that way. All right, Nick, do it.
Say it one more
Alrighty.
time, Alex.
I need
know
co-host
not
Alex.
everyone got 'em.
What'd you say?
Will you repeat it one more time? Because I know not
What are
everybody.
you gonna do differently tomorrow? What did you take away from tonight?
And coast.
What is your hidden talent? And where are you from? What do you do? All right, so that's
Hidden talent. Ooh, I know what I'm gonna say. Who's hosting these breakout rooms?
You're gonna just hit join when Nick says
Already. Go
It's
join.
random.
Go, go, go. Don't leave your breakout rooms stranded with no one in it. Join. Go, go, go.
Everyone that's frozen means they're going.
Bro, now when I put 7 people in each room, now everyone joins the breakout room. I can never win. Look, almost everyone left and went in the breakout room. And we got someone with 7. By recording.
Rooms are